Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Diane. How are you? Hi, Eileen. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all. I'm so excited you're here. We've got a great breakfast thanks to Own Home Loans, Quality Building Inspections. We've got a great meeting today. Some motivation, maybe some inspiration. I know how you guys are feeling right now, so we're going to talk about some good things to just pick you up and make sure that we're focusing on the right things. So thank you for spending your morning with us. Before we kick it off, I thought I'd introduce, we'll go with Doug Fast. Doug is one of my favorite inspectors. He's been working with our company for years. I don't use any other inspector on any of my transactions personally or anybody that I work with out there. Doug, thank you for being here. Quality Building Inspections. Would you like to say a few words?
You bet.
All right. Let's welcome Doug. The space bar progressed here. Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. So just so everybody knows, the breakfast tacos are all the same. It was supposed to be a bar where you could make your own, but they just pre-assembled them all, and they all have bacon and chorizo, so I'm sorry for those that don't like chorizo. But anyways, I'm going to just talk for a couple minutes about a couple things. For those of you that don't know me, I put a couple bullet points up here about a little bit about what we do, who we are. I'm not really going to spend a lot of time about this. You know, if you'd like to know more about us, you can go to our website. You can talk to me personally. I'll be happy to talk to you more about us. But you know, in reality, that's not why I'm here today. There's a few things that I wanted to share with you about, you know, how can we as a company help you out as real estate agents. And so that's really why I'm here today. And I am going to go off script just a little bit on a couple things, but you know, there's a few things that we can do for real estate agents that even some of you that have worked with us might not be aware of. And then there's a few new things that we're also adding in as well that I'll talk about. So I did want to spend a little bit of time talking about CE. So we are approved through Colorado DORA for 9 different CE classes. And I know a number of you in here have taken some of my classes. Hopefully that was a good experience for you, and we'll be happy to come back. But you know, CE classes are kind of a passion of mine. I love teaching. I love talking about construction and construction-related items. So you can see the areas that we have classes on. Matter of fact, I'm going to be doing another class here in, I can't even remember when it is, in a couple weeks, I think.
Thursday, October 9th.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing another class here relatively soon, so I'd love to have any of you come for that. All my classes are always complimentary, so there's no fees to them, and they will range between 1 and 3 CE hours as well. So the other thing that I did put up here in relation to CE is because I like doing it so much, you know, I tend to put in new classes to DORA pretty frequently. So if anybody has dying information that they, you know, or information they're dying to have that's kind of related to home inspections, construction, anything along those lines, please let me know, because I'd be happy to consider that and look at, you know, doing some additional CE classes. So the other thing that we are just starting to get into is solar inspections. So very, very few folks in Colorado and very, very few home inspectors are doing solar inspections right now. And as a state, we actually, I think the last numbers that I saw are that we have roughly about 17% of the homes in Colorado that have solar. So solar, obviously because of all the sun that we tend to get in Colorado, Colorado's a great state for solar, and there's more and more houses that we come across that have solar as part of it. And we kind of, as a company, got tired of telling folks, no, we don't look at the solar panels. We don't do anything with the solar. So we partnered with another company that kind of specializes in that. So we're going to be the beginning of October, starting to do solar panel inspections. And as part of that, whether you're on the listing side or the buy side, we know that there can be some trepidation about folks buying houses that have solar, and some of the concerns with that. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits for solar, and being able to kind of address some of that up front. So we do have a couple handouts that you can provide either on the listing side to your sellers, or on the buy side to your buyers, that are kind of a step-by-step guide to preparing the house that's going to be going up for sale that has solar on it. So you can kind of hopefully smooth over some of the trepidation, like I said, in terms of folks that are interested in buying that. But along with that, we do provide complimentary energy reports. Or we will, I should say, with any solar panel inspection, or with any infrared inspection. So we also have been doing infrared inspections for quite a while, and so those are kind of very much tied together, and it's kind of a nifty little thing that is like a 2 or 3 page report that gives your folks a little bit of an idea of this is how much money you can save if you added on this, or if you added on solar, or some different ways of looking at it. So those are complimentary to your folks that are doing either one of those. Every one of our inspections does come with a complimentary repair estimate report. So if you haven't seen these, basically this company takes the inspection report and then they put estimated repair costs associated with that, and these are supposed to be very geographic specific. So they should be very specific to our location here. We used to actually sell these to buyers, and we had a lot of concerns from you as realtors saying, I'm not really loving this because my buyers get this report that has $40,000 worth of repair, and now they're wanting to renegotiate $40,000. And so we kind of changed how we did that. So now on every inspection, that report just goes to you, doesn't go to the buyers, and that way you can decide, and you can alter that report if you want to just focus on some of the things that you're wanting to object to. So that way it does kind of give you some, if you don't have time to actually bring contractors out, it allows you to have kind of some ballpark numbers to go with some of the inspection items that are happening. And then lastly, I bring this up for any CE classes that we teach as well, but we are always, and me in particular as the owner, I'm always very open and happy to any questions, and it doesn't matter whether you work with us or not. I have listing agents call me, frequently asking me questions about things that will come up, either on the inspection or things that they're not sure about, whether their folks should preemptively deal with this. And so, we're always open for any questions, anything that you might want to get some advice from an impartial inspector on. So I'm always happy to answer any of those questions. So with that, I'm going to step down. I do have, if anybody's interested, I left a few of our company brochures kind of right next to the plates over there. So if you have any questions or would like to find out a little bit more about us. Yes.
I didn't catch your name.
It's Doug Fast.
Okay, and then how far north do you go?
So we go,
Loveland, Johnstown, Longmont,
so we'll
Fort
go,
Collins, Greeley.
yeah, right now we're not going that far north. So we actually, I have an inspector that worked for me for 5 years. It's coming back in a week and a half, and he's located in Westminster, so he's a lot more able to do northern stuff. So like Longmont, we would probably do that, but that's probably about as far north right now. Yeah. Yeah, Dominic.
Those solar reports
Yes.
that you said you had for buyers and sellers, is
Yeah.
that available on your website?
Not yet. No. So if that's something you want, just either call me or shoot me an email, and I can send that. To you.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes.
And your radon, you do the radon, is there an extra cost to that for the inspection?
Yes. Yep. Radon is an additional fee.
Okay.
So we do inspections, radon testing. We partner with a third party. We can coordinate sewer scopes, and we're again in 2 weeks. In addition to the solar inspections, we also will be doing mold testing as well. So, all right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you, Doug. And Amir and Brianna, Own Home Loans. You guys want to jump up there? Yeah, there you go.
Good morning. Well, I think we know everybody here, but just in case, Amir and Brianna with Own Home Loans, your in-house lender. Brianna prepared today's presentation, but I just want to make sure everybody knows really one of the best marketing opportunities you can have is happening this week, right? The Fed announced their rate cuts, which mortgage rates don't follow that specifically, but most people think that they do. So, if you're trying to pull in some buyers, it's a really good time because the news is really advertising for you. And if you're curious where rates are right now, depending on the loan products, we're kind of in, kind of the high 5s, low 6s for most types of loan products. If you have FHA or VA buyers, it can even be below that, even potentially into the 4s with a little bit of a buy down. So there's a lot of opportunities, and yeah, it's a good time to market to your buyers if you have any. If you don't know how to do that, we're happy to help you and explain how that can change payment amounts and everything else. But I won't ramble too long. Just wanted to throw that out there, and then I'll let Brianna take over.
How many of you guys know some seniors?
Oh, I know lots of them.
Lots of seniors? We just started doing reverse mortgages, and I'm super, super excited about this because I've been asking if we could offer these for quite some time. I'm super passionate about reverse mortgages because they are sometimes there's some myths with them, some bad raps they've gotten in the past, but they are really an incredible, unbeatable, unmatched offering for seniors that can open up all kinds of security and flexibility and freedom for seniors. And I don't know how many people know that you can actually buy with a reverse mortgage. So if you guys know anyone who is 62 years of age and older, and in some cases even 55 is where we could start. Anybody who wants to sell and wants to move but doesn't want to take a payment, if they don't have a mortgage payment or have a small payment or a large payment or have a little equity or just need a little help with some extra cash or maybe on a fixed income and couldn't qualify for a traditional mortgage or need a little help with home modifications. There's a million reasons why a reverse mortgage would be a way to free up their hands, to take that equity with them, to get them into something that would be a better situation for them. And if you know anybody that has any of those situations, you probably know someone that would be a perfect fit for a reverse mortgage. I just saw a hand go up.
I just want to tell a quick story. We had a past client who they were older, and he passed away. He was in his 80s, and she was in her early 70s. She didn't think she could stay in her house, in her patio home. And I hooked her up with a mortgage lender who did reverse, and they got a reverse mortgage. She was able to stay in her house. She was so thankful, and she, you know, and it's not costing her a thing.
Yep.
So it is a lifesaver for many people.
For the right client, it can
Right.
be really good. And for those of you that are a little iffy on reverse mortgages, keep in mind it's probably the most heavily regulated loan product that exists from a consumer welfare standpoint. So keep that in mind. These have been around a long time. The regulators are always keeping a really close eye on whether it's hurting people, but in a lot of situations, there's really no substitute. It's maybe one of the only ways they can stay in the house or buy without payments and so on and so forth. So
I actually have an equity agent who brought me her parents who have a home that's been paid off for years down in Colorado Springs, but they wanted to be closer to family, and they didn't want to have a mortgage payment. They wanted to continue having that, but they were going to be going up in price, and they didn't want to take on a payment. We were able to sell that home and put about half of the net proceeds into the new home and about half of the net proceeds into just a slush fund for them, some investment accounts. So they've got cash coming in and that's liquid that they have access to. It's not all tied up in the property, but they will also never have a mortgage payment. And they got a bigger house, single family. They went from condo, townhome sort of setup to single family home. They're closer to family. So that might be another reason too. It might be a senior that wants to move further away from family. Whatever the situation is. It's really, really simple for us to just talk with them a little bit about their goals, what they're needing to do, whether they have enough income to be able to cover the property taxes and the insurance. Does the equity in the home need to cover that for them? Do we need to bring out some additional cash for maybe some in-home care and being able to afford those healthcare costs? Maybe it's, you know, just being able to travel and wanting to free up the equity in that home, but not have it all tied into the house, have it liquid so that they can do some things. There's so many different reasons. We're really excited about the investor that we're partnering with. They do the FHA insured HECM mortgage, that home equity conversion mortgage, but they also have some proprietary reverse mortgages that allow that buyer to, you know, maybe get into something at a little younger age, under 62 years of age. Put a little bit less into the house. Really, really cool programs. We even have a reverse HELOC. So if you've got anybody that might be on the fence or feel stuck, just bring them to us and we can just put it all into the calculation and show them what's possible. It's really so cool. So excited we're doing these. On the table are some myths. I didn't print off enough for everybody, and it doesn't have any of our information on here. But anybody that is maybe wanting to take something with them to remind you to call us or give it to somebody who has just a bad view of these reverse mortgages. We'd be happy to explain why none of these things are true, and it really is an incredible opportunity. That's all I had. Any questions, you guys?
That's exciting.
Yeah, thanks, Amir, for letting me finally.
yeah, thanks guys.
All right, guys. Rush ahead to bring in our next guest speakers. I wanted to have Melissa, Smedra CEO, and Nick Bacone. Nick's our public affairs consultant. I wanted them to come in and kind of just talk about the many benefits at Smedra. I know there's some conversation. Do we join? Do we not join? I need to remind you guys that on paper, I'm a designated realtor employing broker, which does mean all of our agents in our office do need to be members of Smedra. Without getting into the weeds of it, we know that there's some tension around this, and some people are maybe holding off on renewing their board membership right now. Me personally, I've always been a big believer in Smedra and all the things that they do for us locally. You can have your opinions on NAR, have your opinions on CAR. Smedra is amazing, and they're here to tell us about some benefits as to why you might want to renew your membership with Smedra. I hope that's a good segue.
Wonderful.
If you could please welcome Melissa Maldonado, Nick Bacone.
shameless plug, I've always been a big fan of your office. Just, Todd Schuster was president, oh gosh, how many years ago? Todd was one that I would walk around going, Todd, okay. But he would push me. And now with Paul at the reins, you guys are absolutely amazing. Yes, we understand that there is a lot of discussion and should I be a realtor? Should I not be a realtor? So at the local level, we wanted to make it so hands down, no discussion, so appealing that there's not even thought on why you would want to be a realtor. So one of the things that Smedra did, 10 years ago, and this isn't true at every association, we offer free education. We wanted to make sure that all of our members rose to a higher level of professionalism. Yes, some offices do education, but we wanted to make sure you had a full variety and opportunity to take classes. And then about 5 years ago, we did the Forewarn member benefit, which I don't know how many people use Forewarn.
I love it. I use
If
it
you
every day.
don't, everybody should have Forewarn. If you went and got Forewarn on your own, it's $240 annually. We are offering it for free, of course. And then this year, the challenge was what would be so compelling and such a tangible member benefit that it doesn't even make sense not to be a member of the association. So we came up with some exciting stuff. The first one that we're doing, and this one's just kind of a fun one, if you are a member of Smedra, you will get the printed version of 5280 magazine mailed to whatever your address is that you have in our system. So if you have your office address, sorry, you might be getting a bunch of them. If you want it
It's okay.
delivered to your home, just make sure you go into your member profile and type in your home address, and you will be getting that. Is that monthly or is it?
Yeah, it's monthly.
Monthly, okay. I should know that. You'll be getting that as a member benefit. It's fun. It's just a little thank you for being a Smedra member. The second one that we're doing, and this one was exciting, Diamond Circle. Oh my gosh, it's Diamond Circle time. I have to fill out that application. I have to submit the application fee. If you qualify, if your production qualifies, and you have it in RE Colorado, whatever that number is, you don't have to fill out an application. You're going to be recognized, and there's no application fee. If you have off-market things, you may want to get those into RE Colorado because it might bump you from 2 carat to 3 carat, and we're going to recognize you. You still have to pay to come to the event, but we have a thing where we're like, what if we have everybody walk across the stage? What if we have just something extra? We want to celebrate your success, and we want to make sure that we celebrate all of our members' success and not have that as a barrier. Some offices had one person do it in the office for everybody. I don't know if you guys had that, but I want to go, if that person wants to hug me, they can. Yeah, it's just a little thank you. We want to celebrate your success, waiving the application process, and there's no application fee. The next one is what are the tools that individuals use every day, and that is a contracts platform. There are 4 in the Metro Denver area. We are partnering with Resure, and the reason we chose that individual platform was because of the security. Whether you have an ex-wife that can sign for an ex-husband or whatnot, there are extra layers with that program, which is why we chose it, and that platform will be free for you. I don't know what you pay for Contracts platform now, but it'll be free.
Is it free forever? Or
I can't. Forever is a long time. I have a 1-year.
This says it runs to March 31st. That's why I was curious what that means by.
Oh, that's to sign up.
That's to sign up.
Thank you.
That's to sign up. I have a
hadn't
1-year
read all the
contract with that. I'm glad you're reading it.
Yeah.
We have a 1-year contract, and depending upon how many individuals we get, it depends on whether we continue it. As you know, you need membership to support these programs because, of course, I get everything at a discounted rate. So yes, we hope to continue offering it. And then the last one, which I am most excited about, Centralock. I need to hear a grill. Oh, Centralock. Oh gosh. And we hear you, and we have heard you. One thing, we are working behind the scenes to try to solve the problem. That's all I can say. I hope that there's a resolution by the end of Q4.
The showing time? Is that what you're getting at?
I can't say.
I know, I
I
get you.
can't say, but we are working on it. We heard you. What we're doing in the meantime, no, that's not
That's
it.
not the applaudable part yet.
What we're doing in the meantime is, as you know, CenturyLock has two sides. They have CenturyConnect, which is the free side, and then they have CenturyKey, which is the paid side. How many people pay for it in here? Okay. We will be providing it to all members at no cost. What that means, if you personally don't need that one-day code, because you can go up and open up a box without a one-day code.
That's cool.
That's great.
And you're supposed to say, wow, that's so
That's
cool.
great.
And then I'm going to say, well, that's not all.
Oh.
Kind of like those infomercials. That's not all.
There's more.
If you have paid for the app this year, we're gonna refund you once you pay your 2026 dues for the amount between October and April, the amount that we're covering. So you will get a refund check. I think it's like $62 or something like that. So if you add up all these tangible benefits, the portion that comes to Smedra is $254. If you add up just the tangible benefits, and that has to do with Diamond Circle, the classes we offer, Forewarn, CenturyLock, that's over $1,500. To me, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. We appreciate you guys being part of Smedra. We want to show our membership how much they mean. We want to give you tools and services that you use every day. And thank you for being a valued member.
Thank you.
That's great.
Question?
Yeah, I just want to compliment you on the Realtor breakfast that you have. I think it's next schedule
Yes,
for the 26th
yes.
with Dr. Elliot Eisenberg.
Elliot Eisenberg, he is
If anybody in this room hasn't been to that, have to go.
he is a character and
It's
a half.
funny, but he's an economist that you listen to him, if you could slow him down.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's tough to slow him down.
It's tough to slow him down, but all of a sudden economics seems to make sense.
Yes.
And plus they have a lot of other like vendors there, so it's a vendor fair breakfast.
Yeah.
And listening to him talk about the economy, that's well worth, that to me is.
That's worth
good to hear.
membership as well. Our power lunches, we're going to be having Mark Cheddar come in. If you guys recognize that name, property management, he'll be at our October 21st. Our power lunches alone that we do, all the education that we do, our town hall talks, our connections and cocktails. It's ways for you to connect with other members and ways for you to connect with affiliate members and really be an expert in your field. So,
Since day one, the last piece I just want to contribute, Smedra has always been investing in tangible things that make our lives easier as agents. They believe in our industry, what we're doing out there. I mean, to Melissa's point, it's a no-brainer. So I will be renewing because look at all these tools that we have available to us, and I appreciate you guys for all that you do for us and our industry.
Can I talk about the intangible stuff
I
for a
was
couple
going to
minutes?
say, we do have intangible stuff,
Yeah.
and that's the advocacy. Yes, everybody gets the advocacy, but it is so important. And
Yeah, so you guys know me, Nick Bacone. I'm the public affairs outreach consultant here. Spoken with this group before. Love this office. Love you guys. Right? Good to see you, buddy. The advocacy side of things is very tough to say, if I join Smedra, I'm going to get this much in legislative protection. That's a hard number to actually quantify or calculate. I'm going to put my NAR cheerleader hat on for a couple minutes and talk about what those guys are doing on the Hill. Now, we all have opinions of how it's going in DC. Some think it's going really great in DC. Some think we have real problems in DC. However you are wired, do that, be that, feel that way. But we, meaning NAR and Smedra and Carr, look at things from a realtor point of view, from how this stuff is going to affect your clients and your consumers. NAR is very good at that. The budget bill that was just passed about a month and a half, 2 months ago, contained a couple big provisions that massively impact and benefit the real estate industry. One of them you've heard me talk about before in these sales meetings. Mortgage interest deductibility was not only preserved in the budget bill it was made, I can't speak to legislative congressional maneuvers, but it was made permanent in the federal tax code. What that means is that for people who still itemize, and itemizing on your federal taxes is still a very good idea if the conditions fit you. My wife and I have a small home in the foothills. We don't have kids. We still itemize. Deducting mortgage interest is my biggest deduction. It is one of the largest financial benefits to differentiating between homeownership and rental choices for those folks who are first making that choice. No one on Capitol Hill is defending MID, mortgage interest deductibility, other than the National Association of Realtors. Secondly, 1031 exchanges. If you've been in this business in Colorado more than a day, you are familiar with the financial benefits of helping your clients and consumers use 1031 as a tool to make exchanges on properties, sometimes in different states and of similar tax proportions. There were people in Washington, D.C. that thought 1031 exchanges were only a vehicle used by very, very rich people. And again, one entity on Capitol Hill was defending that. So can I put that in numbers for what you're getting for your membership dollar value? No, I can't give you a dollar amount on it. But I can tell you with our 3-level agreement, here at the local level, CAR at the state level, in the halls of the state legislature down in Denver, and NAR in Washington, D.C. are doing everything they can to protect the industry, to protect your license, and to protect your clients and consumers. And I don't know if you can tell or not, I get pretty fired up about this stuff. I've worked for the Realtors for 32 years, Paul. 32 years now. I'm an old guy. I have more gray hair now than I did in that chubby picture there. But I do this because I really believe in these issues, and I really believe in what you guys do every day when you're out helping the folks that you help. At the local level, that manifests itself to questions like land use, questions like taxes, questions like zoning. We are involved in those discussions every day, whether it's Littleton, whether it's Centennial, Aurora, and all points in the South Metro area. So if you're going to ask what you're getting for your dues dollars, I love the tangible stuff. This association is very good at that, but as I think you can tell, I feel very passionate about the intangible stuff too. So happy to answer any questions about that, but I want you to know that we're always going to be on your side and have your back. You know, the two things you want the advocacy department to do is keep government off your back and out of your wallets. Not the easiest job in the world, but it's something your association takes very seriously. Paul?
Well
Thanks.
said. Yes, thank you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
It was inspiring.
Thank you, man.
Great speaker. Thank you so much.
And we owe each other a music
Yes,
conversation.
let's do it. Let's do it. All right, guys.
So we have Resure classes here if you want to find out more. I know that Resure would also come to the office meeting if you want to find out more about that platform.
Yes, and I think I will, since we have 250 Smedra members still, I mean, I will invest in that and get Resure set up so all of our forms are in that platform should you want to use it.
And one of the things that we also negotiated with them is they would take your existing information from whatever platform you use now and transfer it at no cost. I was going to say, no, because first they were going to charge me, no, that ain't going to work. So
You said the 4 platforms. What are they in the contract platforms? Which ones will they work with?
I know that there's CTM, of course. There is Resure. There is
Dotloop.
and there's one.
DocuSign.
No, there's another one. Justin Knoll is part of that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do, but I don't
They're
know the
just
name.
launching it as well.
Yeah.
So,
So the big question is, does Resure integrate with CTM? And that answer is yes.
Yes.
And I've seen it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into that.
Do you like it better?
I don't know yet. I haven't discovered the full extent of what it can do. Great. We'll have more on that. But when I saw Resure added, I know you guys have another meeting. Thank you guys.
I'm aboard.
When I saw Resure added as one of the benefit lists, that kind of piqued my interest because yes, CTM does some things well, but it also does some things pretty terribly. And security is one of them. So maybe at the next meeting in November, I'll have more of an update for you on what it can do and how it might be worth our time. If you're already a Smedra member, cut out that $50 cost of CTM to have a software that's pretty neat. There's a learning curve, but I'll report back to you in November on that.
And then because other agents use CTM, they would still accept those.
Yeah, so Beth's question, how does it interact? From what I've seen, there are some buttons. If you receive an offer from CTM, you're using Resure, you can press a button that imports all of that information on the contract into a Resure version contract. So those two contracts are kind of merged together so you can share signatures and all that good stuff, just like you would in CTM. I don't know it fully though. There's some things that I want to look into before we promote it as if it's this great expense thing.
Right,
So-
if it goes vice versa,
Yeah.
if we send the Resure to a CTM user,
Correct. Yep, vice versa.
I would.
And that's probably more important because the majority of people are using CTM.
Yeah.
So there is integration.
Online classes on
Oh, yeah. I'm getting emails every 2 weeks from the Resure rep trying to get into our office. I'm like, we're not there yet. Give us some space.
But they have to have stuff online, like
Yeah.
webinars and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep. And then the last thing, you guys have to understand, it's a sensitive subject. And I was chatting with Melissa out there. You guys are not billing me for agents. Smedra is not billing me for agents that don't renew their membership. In the past, that's what they would do, is they'd bill me, they'd bill Equity directly. And that's where you'd get my email that says, you have to renew your membership or they're going to charge my card. So the only other option is we have to inactivate your license. They're holding off on that still. They understand the climate, and that's why they're trying so hard to push these benefits, which I'm actually pretty excited about. So it is optional, but I want to say it loud and clear that I do believe in what Smedra's doing, and I do think it's worth the money, the investments for all the tools that we get. Eileen.
I have a question because when you did the introduction for Melissa and Nick, you said that we are all required to be members of Smedra. Did you mean that we're all required to be members of Smedra or a board?
Great question.
Not just Smedra.
Great question. So when I generally said you have to be a member of Smedra, the rule here is that you can't just join a local board or a state board or NAR. You have to join all three right now.
Right, but
Which
we
is
could
another-
change our membership to DMON.
You could change your,
As
yes.
long as we're a member of a board, not just Smedra.
Correct. Thank you for correcting.
Okay.
Yes. Any board. If the employing broker is a realtor, all the agents under that employing broker need to be realtors, whether it's with Smedra, PPAR, DMAR. I thought your question was more, can we just join DMAR and exclude CAR and NAR? That's another controversy right now too. Many people want to decouple that. Maybe someday we can only join Smedra and not have to join CAR or NAR. So I just want to articulate that there's some sensitivity around that conversation, but at the end of the day, why wouldn't you, aside from the dollar amount, when you have access to all those classes and those great guest speakers like the Economist, and then these tangibles that they just introduced this year. So I wanted you to hear my personal opinion. I'm all about choice. I want you guys to be able to choose what you're spending money on. I don't like forcing you to do anything. But now it does make my job a little easier to say, Smedra has some really cool things that would benefit you if you take full advantage. So that's where I'm coming from. They're not billing me if you don't renew. There's no hard feelings if you don't renew. And if you guys want to know the stat, I think we've got 200 and I think only about 90 to 100 agents in our office did not renew.
But they switched boards because they have to be part of the board, so they can no longer be part of Equity. Is that correct?
That's technically how the rule works, but they're not strictly enforcing that because they know I might say, if you're going to hold me in a headlock, I might pull out altogether and not be a realtor anymore. That's the temperature of all these brokerages right now after the NAR settlement. So it's this kind of in limbo scenario. Join if you see the value, and you can hold off for now if you don't, but we don't know how long that will last.
Has Smedra billed you in the past?
Yes.
And what's their reasoning for billing you?
It's a rule that starts up at the top at NAR that says if you're an employing broker and you opt in, we need to know that you're pushing the realtor affiliation within your office. And I could find the exact ruling for you and everything, but since day one, that's how it's been. So it's about as clear as mud. If you have questions, again, the summary is if you see the value, join. If you don't see the value, you can hold off for now. you might get an email from me where I say it's been a good run. Now they're starting to crack down way up at the top at NAR. They're going to charge me if you don't renew. So now we're at this crossroads. And who knows, maybe I'll back out by then. I don't know. So if you have
agents, right?
yeah. If you have questions, feel free to call me. We can chat about it. But I'm going to keep it moving just because we have a lot of more fun things to talk about with the board. But is that at least cool that you guys get to see their benefits?
Yeah,
It's pretty
it
exciting.
is, it
I mean,
is.
I'm happy about that.
Great, because it's the right timing.
Yeah. They mean well. They're trying to do the right things for us. So I've got to move along quickly, but real quick, welcoming new agents and guests, and maybe I should even say, if you haven't received an Equity E lapel pin, Tiffany, I saw your text. I'm glad you made it. If you haven't received your Equity E lapel pin at a sales meeting, no pressure. I don't want to freak anyone out by having you stand and say hi, but if you just want to say hi and introduce yourself, quick 20, 30-second overview. Anybody not receive one of these? I know there's some back there. You want to start up front?
No, I don't really want to stand.
We'll start with you. We're all super excited. Tell us your name and how long you've been in the business.
I'm Courtney, and I've been in the business probably about 10 years. Just not like full-time raising kids, so now it's kind of transitioned to full-time.
In Northern Territory,
Yeah,
too,
Northern
both
Colorado.
Courtney and Ginger here. So thank you. Welcome to Equity.
I was gonna say, part of the reason that we ended up at Equity is because we switched to Smedra a year and a half ago, and that's because we did a bunch of research, and
they
even
have
though
more.
they were an hour and a half away, they were still without a doubt the best, and I think are still.
I agree.
Yeah.
You guys hear
Well,
that?
that's good, that's good.
Yeah.
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 Very good.
So-
It really looks like.
Did you do a spreadsheet between the boards?
I didn't,
Oh,
but
you could share.
I did not, but I called literally all of them from Northern Colorado through DMAR all the way down to Smedra. And the ones that I could remember, I would say there were probably about 6 or 7 of them. And Smedra was without a doubt the best. And
It's just the
I still
benefits?
think everything from the benefits, their emails, their notifications, their free classes that they do, it is hands down better. And you throw what they just did this year on top of it, and I still am very pleased with it. Not to mention, it's probably how I found Paul. So, you know, there's that.
I'm glad you did. Thank you for that review. Yeah, they do a lot of great things. They really do. Thank you, Ginger. Anybody else need the help in? All right, let's do side by side. Barb.
I'm really excited. This is probably my second sales meeting. I started in
Attention up here, attention up here.
Sorry, Barb.
That's okay. My name is Barbara Galavis, and I've been doing it for about 4 years.
4 years.
But not full time, right? I run my own business, but I'm starting to try to change this more.
This upcoming list transactions.
Yes. Up north, right? Yes, up north. It's just not as far as I'm in like northern Portland.
Welcome. I'm so glad you made it. Your first sales meeting.
Yes, hi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany Johnson. I have been a realtor for 4 years now, but I've been dabbling in the business for about 10.
10 years. Great agent.
Yeah, thank you.
Putting lots of deals together.
I do my best. Yep, I do the best I can. But, it's a pleasure to, I can't say meet you all, but hello, good morning. Thank you for the wrong address in, so I'm at the wrong place, but I'm here and just looking forward to hearing what we were about.
Colorado Springs, all the way up to Aurora, you kind of make some.
Yeah,
You're all over.
pretty
Right?
wide range right now. Eventually it'll probably get narrowed down a little bit, but I don't have a problem with that.
I like to talk about locations just so you guys can see who's in different areas for referrals. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else that I missed? I think everybody else has been to a sales meeting. Okay, good. All right, guys, we're going to breeze through some other things here. Agent referrals, we are still growing with great referrals. So your referrals are appreciated. Sharyar Chowdhury referred Muhammad Janjua. He couldn't be here today. I wish they were. Kira Hoherd referred 2 agents, Felicia Jenkins and Lisa Payadino. I'm interviewing tomorrow, actually. And then Kevin Green, who was also supposed to be here, he joined us probably about 2-3 weeks ago and already referred 2 agents, Nathaniel Addison and Adrian Luno. And I just want to say that's a big part of who we are. You guys know this, but if you haven't heard this, that's how we've grown, is your referrals, and they mean the world to us. So, there's a couple pictures of the last handful of agents that have joined. Kevin Green, Jimmy Green, Karen Beisner, which you guys might recognize. Karen came back. So happy to have her back. Kamora White, Alan Hanash, and then Mohammed John Jua. We're still waiting for his headshot photo. All right, and then a quick announcement. Did everybody see the weekly update email about the referral transaction fee increase? Okay, I just wanted you to be aware. We won't spend too much time on it, but that is a fee that has not changed in, 25 years of operation. So they did increase it from $150. So this is when you're receiving a referral commission, 25%. The fee used to be $150. Effective September 1st, it's now $400. One of the other perks is they're really trying to push the equity referral network. So if you need to find agents in other states, you can always use that referral network on Elevate, and those referral fees do remain at that $150 price tag. And the only other thing I'll say is there is a form that you guys can fill out to receive referrals. And I think we've had a handful of agents in our office that have closed transactions from that relocation referral network. So in our sales meeting recap, we'll send out information on how to sign up. And then the last piece, I just wanted to remind you, if you guys are referring deals to agents within our branch, there is no referral fee. So if John refers a deal to Tamila, John, you wouldn't have to pay your $150 fee to try to keep that business local in our office. So, any questions on that? Pretty minimal, but still, I wanted to make sure it was on your radar so there's no surprises when you get your next referral check. All right, and then upcoming events. We've got that Inspections Homes Through the Ages class that Doug plugged. That's on October 9th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's 2 free CE credits. Doug is a great inspector and instructor. In this class, he gives you highlights to look for in the inspections for homes that are built in certain eras. So the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s. It's a really interesting class, and he gives really good examples. So submit your RSVP, and we'll save you a spot. And then CFSP, I'm getting ready to run the next round of the Buffini Certified Full Service Professional course. This course is so good, and Allie was in the course. Who else was here? Trish took it. Crystal took it. Yeah, Zara's taken it. John took it. A bunch of people have taken it. When you take these classes, things just happen. And it's so funny because I can think of several people that were in our CFSP course, and they had 3 or 4 transactions that kind of came to the surface. And the common saying is, I don't know where this business is coming from. Well, I do. You're doing all the things that we're telling you to do in the CFSP course. And it's just top of mind. It gets you reinvigorated. So this class, whether you're new or very experienced, it's about enhancing your customer experience. It's a little bit different than the boot camp Buffini courses where it's action steps and working by referral and make this number of calls. This is more, what is your business proposition, your value proposition? And the beauty of it is you get to hear from other thought leaders. So John Acuff, an author, Will Guidara is another really well-known author and runs one of the most successful restaurants in New York. So I'll get off the Buffini stool here, but I would love to see you guys take this course. We need at least 8 people in the course, and it starts on October 22nd. It's short, it's only 5 weeks, so it's done before the holidays are up. And I would love for you to consider taking it. Any interest?
Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday from 10 to 12. Yep, 10 to 12. And I'll even open it up to Zoom. If you guys can't make it, I'll Zoom you in. So I know we've got agents up north. Because it's just so good. As we get to the end of the content in our meeting, we'll come back to CFSP, but I know this is a tough market. I know things are slow, and there are tangible examples. Dominique, you were in the class. You had a great listing experience when you were in that. Taking these courses helps sustain your business and gives you something to focus on and get you through these slower moments. It's weekly motivation, all based on real estate business. So we'd love to have you in the course. We'll move on. The next one, our holiday party. Can you believe we're already talking about holiday parties? So we just put the finishing touches, Allie and I, on our annual holiday party. It's the Thursday, December 11th. And we're going to do it at Bolero again. It was just such a fun event. You guys gave us great feedback, great food, lots of activities between bowling and pool, and we've got this whole space that we can use to mingle, and we're going to be doing giveaways. Last year, Tony Ketterling, our CEO, gave away 2 free transactions. So when you close a deal, you don't have to pay any transaction fees. So there's giveaways and just camaraderie. And we'd love to see you guys there. So mark your calendar, Thursday, December 11th. Thursday, December 11th. And that's 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Open house. You can show up, come as you are. We just love to spend some time and do some bowling with you. All right, guys. Now we get into the fun stuff. Controlling the controllable. I thought I'd start with this to lighten things up a little bit. Every agent, when you ask them how they're doing, I have a giant hole in my heart and a 24-hour migraine. Does anybody feel that way right now? Good. I'm seeing some people shake their head no, which I'm going to talk about. That's good. Do you guys feel a sense of heaviness right now?
Not about real estate.
Not about real estate? Well, that's good.
It's heavy all over.
Right.
It's heavy all over.
It's heavy in the news.
It's heavy all over. Not only do we have a slower real estate market that you guys are feeling, but then you turn on the news, and not even the news. You open Facebook and you see some crazy things that you didn't even opt in to press play, and it just starts showing. And we're surrounded by darkness and all kinds of things, and that contributes to a lot of what we're about to talk about. So by coming to the meeting, anybody seen The Wedding Singer? What I'm saying is, all I really want is someone to hold me and tell me that everything's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. We're here for you guys. You guys are here for one another. Everything will be all right. It always is. And that's so simple, but we need to remind ourselves. We will get through it, whether it's the crazy political climate and the things that are happening in the news or around the world, or just this slow market where you guys are just feeling discouraged. And I'm happy to hear that not everybody feels that way, but at the same time, I know you guys feel it, because several times I'll take a contract call on the hotline. My business is so slow and I'm doing all the right things, and is it just me? That's how I can sense that you guys are feeling that. And that's okay to feel that. So
Therapy with Paul.
Therapy with Paul. Which I love, connecting with you guys, and most of the time by the end of the conversation, what are you working on? What are you kind of doing to get some business in the pipeline? And almost all of those conversations end with, you are doing the right things. You just need to hear it, that you're not alone, and you just have to stay consistent. And my other words of advice, invest so much time and energy into something that excites you within your business that you can't even think about how slow it is. Those are the agents who are succeeding and having fun right now. I think of several people that I'm looking at. Tamila Aspen, I'm going to call on you real quick because you went out of your comfort zone and you're coordinating an event in your neighborhood. And you're crushing it because you're thinking about, how can I make this a valuable event? And you probably don't have time to think about anything else other than a business building activity, right?
No one will come. I need someone to hold me.
Free hugs at the office. But I could sense your enthusiasm, because 2 months ago we had a similar conversation. You're doing well right now, but you still feel like your business is slow. But when I got that email from you saying, I would love to chat and brainstorm about an event that I'm putting together, I could sense that fire, that you were excited. That's what I want you guys to focus on. Anytime you feel down, whether it's the news, social media, or just things feel slow, now is the time that we really need to dig deep and look our business in the face and be true to ourselves. What are we working on? what needs improvements? And am I holding myself accountable to make those tough calls and to truly be a voice in the community amongst my people? We're going to come back to that. So let's focus again. If you've come to the last sales meetings, you kind of know this stuff already, but let's take a look at why it feels the way it feels. So these are the highlights, the stats between July and August. In July, we had 3,529 closings, and in August, we had 3,346, so a little bit down from last month. Pending transactions were up a little bit, which is a good sign of where we're headed. I think this next quarter is going to be busy, this last quarter. But 3,576 in July, and 3,630 transactions went under contract in August. New listings were down. 4,980 in July, August 4,377, and then the other big one, median days on market, 25 in July, which felt long, and it went up even more in August. We're at 32 days on market.
Can thank me for that.
Those are the contributing factors to what you're feeling. So these asterisks, those indicate the slow feelings. Median days on market are up. Things are sitting on the market a little longer. Median prices are slightly up, not by much. I think it's only maybe 200 grand-ish. No, excuse me. Not 200 grand. Well, let's look at the stats. The right here. So this is year over year. 589, 587 was the median price in 2024. So not a huge increase, but and then closed sales are down. Pending sales are up, which again, that kind of insinuates we're going to get busy. We just need those mortgage rates to kind of, or the prices to come down, which that's happening right now. And then new listings are down. So would you guys all agree with this? Things are sitting a little bit longer. Buyers are being a little more patient than we'd like. So it just feels slow. But that's okay. The market moves. And rather than focus too much on the market, we need to focus on the business building things and the relationships, which I'm going to get to. Also, to put it into perspective, August 2021, look at those differences. The unnatural, the good old days. I just wanted to see what those numbers were like in August. 5,969, almost double the amount of pending transactions. 5,686 new listings. 5,579 listings closed. Lower purchase price, 530 was the median price. Median days on market, 5. Weeks of inventory, 2.
Good old days.
The good old days. The reason I show that,
Those were the heydays.
yeah, those were unsustainable days. And I can tell, even myself included, a part of us is still back there in August of 2021 going,
And a lot of our clients are too.
and clients are too.
Yeah.
It's a part of why we process things the way we do, is because a part of us is still stuck back there when, man, I remember when I was doing 25 deals. That was a great year, but it was unsustainable. There were a lot of things that contributed to those volumes that weren't normal. So I just want to give you guys some grace, because I know you're working hard, and I just want you to see why you feel the way you feel, and you kind of just have to acknowledge that and say it's okay. Life moves, it oscillates, but now let's focus on the things that we can control. Before we get there, anybody watch Buffini's bold predictions? Okay, handful. Good. So I do want to review these because they were it was pretty good information. So quickly, 20% of agents will exit the business in 2026. 20%. Not to mention we already lost 400,000 realtors the previous year through all the NAR settlement stuff. I don't want to see that happen with anybody in here. That's why we're having this conversation today. So we always want to wish well on people, but at the same time, the agents leaving the business are the ones that are super part-time. They might do a deal for their aunt. All of those transactions are going to be opening up to the true pros who are sticking it out. And that's a great thing. That means all of those people who have left the business are kind of passing over some transaction opportunities to you guys, which just means we have to work a little harder to find those things. So Buffini's predictions, he's usually pretty accurate. Existing home sales will rise 3%. New home sales will rise 5%. Builders, which is huge right now, you're seeing all these developments all over town. Median home prices will increase by 1%. Mortgage rates will hover between 6.25 and 6.75. I was going to say, I think it lowered a little bit. Let's write him a letter and say, dude, you were wrong. But no, it is a little bit lower than that, so that's good. The other thing is his prediction that's not listed up here, and you've seen it from NAR. If those mortgage rates drop below 6% into the 5s, that's the catalyst that will bring 550,000 transactions to the table nationwide. That's kind of that carrot that's just dangling out there for us. It's one of those things that it's good to acknowledge, but don't put all of your eggs in that basket. Get to work locally, become a market expert, focus on your people, and then hopefully that prediction is true and the interest rates drop, and then you will be locked and loaded and ready to go because you've been in touch with all of your people and they see that interest rate drop and now you're ready to rock and roll. So only other couple things I want to highlight from this, down at the bottom. The crazy pace of 2021 and 2022 wasn't sustainable. Today's slower rhythm is simply healthy, even though it feels slow and stressful in comparison. I agree with that to some extent, but that doesn't discredit that it does feel a little tough. But mortgage rates are softening, home prices are softening. We're in this period where things might blow up. I feel like it's going to be a busy last quarter. Would you guys agree?
And then I think if interest rates go down, the buyers are coming out. The days on market are going to be much shorter, and you'll have wars again.
Yeah, which we've already seen multiple offer scenarios. There's things that are happening. Greg and I are fielding some questions on that support line that are kind of showing that trajectory. So it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And you know why? This is why. Put all that stuff aside. Check in on it every now and then. This, and I'm looking at Carol because I remember one of the first meetings Carol came to, I think we talked about this. And it's funny how we pull from past meetings because a lot of the same feelings, a lot of the same things that happen, they are recurring. And what I'm about to share is not revolutionary. You're probably going to know what I'm about to say, but it's worth saying. There are things that matter, and there are things that you can control. Right there in the middle is what we need to be pouring our time into. Here are some relevant things we can't control. Don't you guys love these? Just kind of fun. We can't control the interest rate changes or mortgage availability. We can't control overall inventory levels and new construction pace. We can't control national or global economic shifts. Unexpected client life changes. How many people have worked with a buyer for the last 6 months and then lost my job, or there's some turmoil. I can't buy right now. You can't control that. You can't control it as much as you wish you could. Political events, political climates, you guys got to turn that off after a while. It's not good. You can't control it. And then other people's reactions to everything. Does anybody else feel like everybody's just hot right now? Some conflicts you guys have called into the support line with. I'm looking at you, Julie. I won't put you on the spot. There were 2 others like yours, Julie. And yeah, Dominic, you had some. Everybody is just so elevated right now. And you can't control that. You can try.
But they're living in the past. Talk to a client that says, oh, well, I'll wait till interest rates go back to where they were. And I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
You're not going to see the 2.5% and 3%. That was a drunken party. And 6-ish, give or take a little, is been the standard for decades.
Yeah. It's not so bad. And to your point, it's our job to explain that to people. That's all it takes. Coffee meetings, we're going to get to the actionable steps that you can start pouring your time into. But there are so many misleading headlines that are just trying to get clicks. Again, I'm pulling from Brian Buffini's bold predictions there. There's just so much noise because we live in a world where people get paid on clicks and interests. And how's this blog doing? And how's X, Y, and Z going? We just need to look at the data. We need to believe in ourselves and in our people and just tell the narrative of 6% is doable, and there's some things happening, there's some products out there that can make it happen for you, not to mention new construction. Oh, but other people's reactions to things. You will drive yourself into the ground sometimes if you try to fix people. And this is transactional and just in life. You know, you can try to be a communicator to bring the tough situation to an amicable place, but don't try to convince people to change their trains of thought entirely. That's one area that you can let go in certain situations, and it will be better for your mental health. Relevant things we can control. Green text, yes! Daily lead gen. Calls, texts, pop-bys, open houses, networking events. Follow-up systems. Consistent CRM use. Prompt responses, personalized outreach. Marketing efforts, social media posts, email campaigns, property videos, community engagement, market knowledge, client experience, how we make people feel, education and skills, working on something to lift you up, better yourself, so you feel inspired and not working from a place here, but I learned some really cool things and I'm going to go apply it, spread the knowledge. Time management, attitude and energy, content consumption. Are you watching educational things? Are you watching motivational things, inspirational things? Daily habits? What's a controversial show right now? I'm stumbling to find one. It's okay to watch Breaking Bad every now and then, one night a week. And I say that jokingly, but what we consume in our content, scrolling, has an effect on what we do when we get out there. So try to incorporate, make an effort to listen to the Buffini podcast, or Tom Ferry has some great stuff. Inspire yourself. Pay attention to what you're consuming when it comes to content. I'm saying this as a reminder to myself too. So
You're saying if we watch Breaking Bad too much, we might start using our clients' houses to
dark times.
I brought my big bag to bag up your house. I need money.
Yeah, I hope not. I would never advocate for that. But my point is, if you watch really heavy stuff, whether it's a TV show or even news, that leaves an imprint on your heart. Not to sound like a cheese ball, but it does. And you will notice you find yourself arguing with friends about stupid things that don't matter. At least in my opinion. And that's all I'm getting at. Trash in, trash out. You've heard that. We have to make sure we're spending time on the things that inspire us to be better. So, I think you guys get what I'm saying. Let's bring all this home. Sustaining your business. Okay, to set the scene, several conversations with all of you guys. I'm looking at you, Greg, too, for this one, because we all know what we're supposed to be doing, but we just get distracted. We're human. That happens. But several people in this room, I can think of conversations where you hired a coach or you went back to the basics of looking at your business and figuring out who I haven't talked to in a while, making that conscious decision to be more social. And then you guys have all these wins. I heard from a client, I haven't heard from in 3 years, and they're interested to maybe list their house soon. Greg, I don't know if that was the exact scenario, but you sent a bunch of postcards out because you hired a coach at Buffini, and you just had that little bit of pressure applied to make sure you're focusing on the right things. And you saw some things happen.
Yep.
And Luz, I know you're working really hard on that too. You're reaching out, you're making more phone calls directly to people. You're kind of reinvigorating your database, and you're starting conversations. Keep doing that. Crystal, I mean, so many of you guys have stories like that where you have wins and you're closing transactions because of those efforts that you did. And it just takes time. what happens is we fall off course and then we don't do anything, and then we, at least I'm speaking from my own experience, I'm not saying you guys are like this. I get frantic and I go, gosh, why is it so slow? Why doesn't anybody want to join equity? And then I hear Todd in the back of my mind, how many calls did you make today? How many lunch appointments did you schedule? How many note cards did you send? How many text messages are you doing out there? Whoops. That's why it's slow.
I'm doubling down on, because it's slow, so.
Double down.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on all of, my calendar is full for the rest of the year for events. Doubling down on Popeyes, doubling down on all my calls, and just really focusing on my database.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't get a lot of new people into my database to add in, but I'm really honing in on the people I do have in my database and having those, lunches or coffees and sending out, a note card to everybody in my database for this month, or, I'm just like, let's go.
Let's go.
Double down.
We
Because
don't,
then hopefully when it picks up, it'll pay off.
it will. And we get busy and we don't think that those actions matter. But as soon as that falters, you start to see how much it mattered. Because you get more text messages when they get the nice note written, the handwritten note card from you. And it just builds that energy to push you forward. So glancing at the time, so I got to move forward. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. But the big takeaway, analyze your business critically. Who's your Todd? Todd is still my Todd. Todd is retired climbing mountains. He goes, dude, your numbers, what's going on? and I say that from a place of love because he cares so much about me, about you guys, about our company and where we're going, even after he's out. And so if you don't have that person, link up, build accountability partners, or transition your thought to be that person, to hold yourself accountable. Stare your business in the face, be honest. What exactly are you doing? What have you fallen behind on? What can you improve? Back to the basics, hard work and being intentional. This is the stuff that's not revolutionary. But as soon as I apply some pressure, now I can point at Trish. Trish has been the only person coming to the business building roundtables. You guys got to come to the business building roundtables. But Trish got a listing. She's got some momentum with some buyers. She's doing the things that are up here. And it's not. My point is, don't go trying to solve a problem or try to integrate something new and exciting until all of this stuff is dialed in perfectly. Because to Greg's point, to Luz's point, to Crystal's point, to Trish's point, if you just refocus and do these things consistently, I guarantee you'll have 2 to 5 leads that will come to the surface. And it's because we fall behind and we put this stuff on the back burner. So that's my message, because I know so many of you go back to the foundation and then things start happening. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
You must do these things consistently. That's the other thing. We don't do things for a while. I'm going to do 50 note cards this week. And then you burn out because that's not fun. It's not sustainable. So it's then setting goals that are too easy to fail. I'm going to do 2 note cards every day. Even if you did 1 note card every day, that's 5 note cards at the end of the week. That's 10 note cards at the end of the week. Beth, you are a rock star when it comes to your note cards. And I know so many of you are. Diane.
With the note cards, may I suggest, if you're going to do 2 a day, which is doable, just put them on your desk with a stamp on them, the envelope.
Yeah.
And then when you talk with someone on the phone, maybe somebody calls you up for nothing, or just write it right then and send it out.
Yep.
Thanks for your call. It was nice catching up, blah, blah, blah. And you can get it done when they're right in your face like that.
Yes. Leave them on the desk so the first thing you see when you go into your office, 2 note cards right there.
Plus the cost of the stamp is so expensive, you're not going to want to waste.
Yes. Exactly. So these are all things we've talked about, so I won't get into them in detail. You guys know what these things are, but how is the foundation? That's what I want you guys to think on. And if the foundation is good, if you feel like you've crushed that foundation, if you're honestly crushing it, if that person in the back of your head, if your Todd is saying, good job, you did everything this week, we got more for you. Download the 105 prospecting ideas list from Elevate.
Jealous. Love her.
It's so good. Incorporate 2 to 3 things consistently until something sticks. And the idea is we're growing our pond. We're making up for the lack of business that has slowed down since 21 and 22. It's the only way we're going to do it is just by doing a little bit more. You don't have to drag yourself into the ground. Little pieces to expand that pond. Okay, final thoughts, and then I'll move on. Win the day. Win the day. Do those things that I just had on the screen because that's what you can control. Sometimes you just get behind and you're not motivated and you want to watch Netflix, you want to just do other things, and you want to scroll Facebook, and then when you go to bed at night, you're going, oh, I didn't do a single thing today. Don't worry about the market. Focus on the tangible business building activities that we went through so that you can feel confident that you crushed it. You did everything in your power that you can control to make sure you have business in the next days, weeks ahead. Focus so deeply on a business activity that you don't even have time to think about how slow the market is. Don't overthink it. Just be social by coordinating simple plans and following up consistently with those who interact. Anybody friends with Chris Royer still? No? He posted a video that was perfect for that one. When someone says, we should grab coffee sometime. And, okay, yeah, great, see ya. And then you never talk to that person again. One easy thing that you can change, pull out your phone and say, let's do it. Let's grab coffee. Let me look at my calendar and get it scheduled right then and there while you're thinking about it. It shows people that you're interested in them, and then you have an appointment, and that's a win. That's a victory. Little things like that to make sure you're getting in front of people. All right, and then the last piece, don't take life too seriously. Life is short. This stuff matters. But does it really matter? Yes, it does. Everything matters and nothing matters all at once. I don't want to get into the morbid side of that, but have fun. Be grateful for what you have, and we're going to be okay. Last thing I'm going to show, and then I'll move on from the motivator. Do the thing. Did we watch this video at the last sales meeting? I know we did in CFSP, but I want you to watch this video under the lens of all of those foundational business building ideas that we just discussed. This is really powerful.
By Strangers Loop, and it is a list of things that are not doing the thing. So here is a list of things that are not doing the thing. I fell in love with an essay by Strangers Loop, and it is a list of things that are not doing the thing. So here is a list of things that are not doing the thing. Preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list for the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Writing a banger tweet about how you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing and the obstacles in the way of you doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Fantasizing about all the adoration you'll receive once you do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how other people did the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading this essay isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing.
Wow. That's a good one.
Dude, I feel called out.
No, right? That's how he gets you. Do the things. Just go make that one phone call. Go schedule that one lunch with someone you haven't seen in a while. Just do it. It feels stressful. Same with your events, Tamila. It doesn't have to be perfect. Plan the date, then plan, and then execute. That's how we do these sales meetings. That's how we do these holiday parties. That's plan it, and you will be forced to do it, and you'll be so glad you did.
And they will come.
And they will come.
And they will love you, and they will hug you.
Give out some hugs, pick some people up. You guys okay, though?
Yeah.
All right. I love you guys. It's going to be fine. We'll get through it. And I know all of you are. There's so many of you who are like, where is this coming from? I'm fine. I got 5 listings and 4 buyers, and it's not an easy thing to talk about, and I just wanted to address it because I care about you guys, and I want you to sustain this. And I'm always here. We're always here.
And we feel the love from you guys. We do. We know you're there.
Thank you. It means a lot to us. All right, guys, I'm behind schedule, but I felt like you guys really just needed that. So now we're going to revisit NAR settlement practice changes, antitrust.
Yay!
As you saw from the agenda, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We've gotten through it, but there's some important takeaways here. So I'm going to go through them quickly. Biggest concerns last year, remember?
Yeah.
New forms. Commissions aren't going to be paid. Buyers are going to have to pay my commission on the buy side. We were freaked out a little bit. Here were some of the biggest concerns that I remember. How will my buyer pay if sellers stop paying my buyer's agent's compensation? That was a big thing. They're already paying so much. How are they going to bring an extra $10,000 to pay my fee? How will I know whether or not a buyer's agent's compensation is being offered when I write an offer? That was another big one. Do I call the listing agent? How do I articulate all of this to both a seller and a buyer? Would you guys agree those were the big 3?
Yeah.
Here's where we're at. Only 2 equity transactions come to mind over this last year where a seller didn't pay a buyer's agent compensation. One of ours was a listing, Terry Cooper. I wish she was here. She had a seller that read the headlines. She was a predominant subject of what we thought we might see. You agents make too much. I'm not paying a buyer's agent. That's the buyer's job. She has the right to say that. But what happened? Dead silence, no offers. Terry had to kind of re-teach her, re-educate her on why co-op compensation is so important. And they took it off the market. She convinced her seller to, you need to pay a co-op compensation because that's just how the industry kind of works. They went back on the market and sold, and they paid a co-op compensation. The other one was on a buy side, and as you'd expect, the buyer said, oh, I kind of need you to find a home where the seller is paying a co-op, and I don't even want to look at that house. Let's go look at another house, kind of try to negotiate the seller to pay your fee as the buyer's agent. Any other comments on that one? My point there is sellers are still paying co-op compensation, especially in Colorado. Other states, it's not the same. But in Colorado, the seller's still paying just like they used to because there's value there. We want to work with 2 professionals on the same side. Or, excuse me, in one transaction. So, number 2, buyer's agent's compensation is negotiated in the offer in section 29.1. That's the most common box that you guys are using. Rather than call the listing agent, you guys are just submitting the offer. Rather than ask or wait, you're wasting precious time. And then you negotiate. That's kind of the new normal. It's fine. It's working great. Any other comments there?
We should have this in the contract a long time ago.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
We had a lawsuit.
Yeah, totally agree. I like that change. And then dialogues and articulating it. We did a couple sales meetings when this all unfolded where we did go through some dialogues. In that CFSP course, we also hit it pretty hard, explaining why you want to pay a buyer's agent, why you want to pay a seller, a listing agent. So definitely consider that class if you need more. But then we did create a dialogue section, which is under the how-tos section in Elevate, where you can go through some pretty extensive dialogues to help articulate all this. I'm not going to get into it just because we've hit it. We're getting to the dead horse, beating the dead horse a little bit with that. But call if you want those dialogues. I can chat through them with you. The other things that made me want to revisit this a year later, I think I hit back instead of forward. There you go. So John Goodman, the Frascona law firm, he has a great class, which I'm pulling some of this information from that class. Antitrust 1 year later. So if you want to see an attorney's perspective, take that course. It's great. It's 3 hours of CE. As of July 2025, right before he taught that class, John Goodman of the Frascona law firm has only had 12 issues surrounding compensation, and none of them have resulted in a lawsuit. it's still super early. There's still some things that we're waiting to see what happens. But even John was like, I'm pleasantly surprised that I haven't seen this blow up as who's responsible for paying the commission. Is the listing brokerage firm going to have some problems with that listing brokerage firm compensation form that they added? So overall, that's pretty good. The other good thing, to Greg's point that he just threw out, contracts are still a bit confusing and cumbersome and will continue to change. John and a couple other people on the forms committee specifically cite section 7 of the exclusive right to sell because it's still under that old paradigm that we need to have the seller pay the total commission to pay both you as a listing agent and the buyer's agent. It's like that whole thing should have been dissected and separated. And that was John's point, is he thinks in 2026, 2027 is when they'll do the next changes, I think, right? Every 2 years. He thinks they will separate it entirely so there's no total commission. This is the fee for the listing agent, and this is the fee, if any, if the seller wants to pay a buyer's agent. That would be so much nicer. So expect some new forms changes down the road. Some other question?
Well, I was just gonna say, why can't we clarify it in additional provisions?
You can. And that's what a lot of people are doing.
Kind of, heading it off.
Yep, you can. It's just the way the standard contract is written. It's like, why are we doing it that way? But there's a slide coming up on that very topic. The last quick takeaway, dang, I'm running behind, guys, I'm sorry, but it's good. Procuring cause is nearly gone since commission compensation is negotiated at the time of the offer. And Eileen, you and I have had some really good conversations about that. But we used to be entitled to a commission if we showed a property, and I'm drawing a blank. And then maybe that buyer starts to go behind your back and work with another agent, and then they write another offer with that agent who's entitled to the commission. Well, previously you were, because you were the procuring cost. You showed the listing, which is the procuring cost to put the transaction together, and that seller could have been on the hook for 2 commissions. Well, that's kind of dismantled now because that seller hasn't promised anything to anybody who's shown a property until they go under contract and confirm, I'm paying the buyer's agent X amount under section 29.1 of the contract. So procuring cause is kind of, see you later. So the takeaway, that's why it's so important to get those exclusive right to buy contracts signed. I don't want you guys to get burned. When a buyer goes around your back, writes an offer on a property that you've been working with them on, there's not much you can do if you don't have an exclusive right to buy signed with that buyer. Dominic.
Just the initial conversation I have with any prospects is, I'm not showing you any properties until you sign this piece of paper.
Yep.
And I think that's standard practice in offering that you can go look online and Zillow all you want, but if you want to see the property, you have to sign this.
Yep. Perfect. And there's also the brokerage disclosure to buyer that you can use in certain situations where you have a buyer who's just, I do not want to sign anything. I'll sign it for this one showing. I still believe, and after we've seen things pan out, shoot for the exclusive right to buy.
Clarify something for me, if you would. If you do show a property without an exclusive right to buy, the only risk being is that you may not make your compensation. That's the only risk. It is not a true requirement to have that buyer's agency agreement signed. Correct?
I would say correct. When this all developed, they made it sound.
I have faith and I believe in karma. And if a buyer turns around and screws me, I'm not going to force them to commit to me if they just started working with me. I still want them to fill me out and know that they want to work with me. And a lot of times how you do that is the exercise of showing properties. And when you shove a piece of paper in front of them and make them commit, it's a turn off.
Yeah.
So I believe in faith and karma. And if they want to screw me, it's their karma. Karma's a bigger bitch than I will.
You let it out. You let it out, Eileen. Yes. So
Well, it really is.
my response to that, though, is they made it sound like they were going to be secret shoppers, where if you were caught showing a property without something signed, you were going to get in trouble and go to jail. I have yet to see anything on that.
The real estate commission clarified that, though. really all up to you with brokerage disclosure.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't have to have some type of disclosure of how agency relationships work, not specifically every contract.
Yeah, and so to tie those two thoughts together, my job is to make sure we're teaching all of the practices to keep you and equity out of trouble. And the brokerage disclosure to buyer is the form that you use in that situation where it just says, hey, in the event you do want to write an offer, this is my fee for working with me. Doesn't mean you have to.
Right. Try me on for size.
Yes. That's when you use the brokerage disclosure to buyer. Where I'd like to see you guys go, though, is you're working with people who came highly recommended from other agents, and an exclusive right to buy makes more sense in that case because they love you. Sign me up. I'm ready to go look. But there are instances where you do have to just let people feel things out and get to know you. That's the difference.
You can always make the exclusive right to buy short too.
What's that?
You can always make your exclusive right to buy short
True.
too. I had a client do that. She's like, I want to trade for a month.
Yeah. Beth said you can make that listing period on the exclusive right to buy short if you want to as well. Maybe it's 2 weeks. Let's go see all the homes you want to see in 2 weeks. Or a month. We can extend it if you're happy. So yeah, great point, Beth.
Show you 25 homes today, and if you don't like it,
Not that
you don't like it, go work with somebody else.
So we got to wrap up because it's 11:30. I'm supposed to be letting you guys go. I picked a series of questions, some that we visited from last year that are still applicable, that I still get on the hotline. Greg's answered a couple on that hotline too. And then there's some new scenarios too. So get out a pen and paper. We're going to collect this, and if you don't pass, just kidding. But I feel if you can answer these questions, we're not going to talk about the NAR stuff again. It's the last meeting. I don't want to beat a dead horse. So you guys ready?
Go.
Question 1. Prior to showing a potential buyer, which documents need to be signed by the potential buyer?
Brokerage disclosure buyer.
Ding, 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 ding. Or,
Exclusive right to buy.
ding, 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 ding. Good job, guys. Started off easy. Question 2, true or false? In an exclusive right to, this one's actually relevant. In an exclusive right to sell listing agreement, you're working with the seller, you must include the buyer's agent's compensation in 7.1.1.1.
False.
False. This is a talking point though, and it's an important one because I've seen some agents get into some trouble. So, 2 options, and I think people forget this. Eileen, Greg, a couple other people I've talked to who are doing this. Option 1 is you can include your fee for listing agent services in section 7.1.1. That's all you care about. You would then put NA down here in the co-op compensation field, because what if you want to just see what kind of offers come in? Seller, I want 3% to list your home and get it sold, but be aware, most buyer's agents are going to request you to pay a co-op compensation. That's just kind of how things work. I'm only asking you to pay me my 3%, and we'll see what comes in on the contract to buy and sell, the offers we receive. That's a great way to do things. So you're not forcing your seller to pay out a fee that you could have found out, we might have been able to hold on to more money than we realized. But there's still a place for option 2. Option 2 is kind of the more traditional thing with the total commission that we were used to, where 6% is the total commission that's going to pay the listing agent and the buyer's agent. 6% here, 2.8% to a buyer's agent down there. The only time you'd use that, I have had a bunch of agents with sellers that go, I know for certain that I want to pay a buyer's agent 2.8%. I'm fine with you advertising that. I don't care. That's what I want to do. And in those instances, you're okay. Do that. This is becoming more of the normal. Eileen, I know you do it. Greg, I think you do it. Beth, because you're guaranteed that 3%, and then we'll see what comes over in the offers. The seller is agreeing to pay the buyer's agent in a separate agreement, which is 29.1 of the contract to buy and sell. That's in addition to what they're paying you here.
I have been adding in my additional provisions though, that seller authorizes me when asked about buyer's agent compensation. That seller is willing to pay buyer's agent compensation based upon the merits of the offer.
That's great.
And that way I can explain it to the buyer or the buyer's agent when asked that, oh yeah, I've talked with them about it, I've consulted with them about it, they're very well aware of how it works. Just write in once you've gotten your buyer's agency agreement and they'll consider that.
Yeah, I love that. That way it's documented that you explained how compensation works in our industry. And you had a conversation. Can you say that verbiage one more time?
Yeah,
And
I like it.
We'll send it out.
Yeah.
Seller authorizes listing agent to, when asked, to,
I know I put you on the spot.
let that the seller will consider paying buyer's agent's commission based upon the merits of the offer.
I love that.
Add it to the contract.
Yeah, I will add that to the contract examples too. A version of it, but we'll also say
I can send you what I've been using in my additional provisions because I like the way that was stated. Some agent up north had said, oh yeah, the seller will consider paying it based upon the merits of your offer. And I'm like,
I like that.
wow, I really like that.
Yeah, that's good.
I just made the seller authorize me to use that.
Yeah. We will include that in the sales meeting recap that goes out. So you've got that. Thank you, Eileen. That's great.
That is
So,
great.
so the biggest point of confusion that's worth holding you guys late. Sometimes agents are putting their fee as the listing agent as 3%, with 2.8% going to a buyer's agent. You guys see the problem there?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't see because my shadow.
Gives you
711.1, yeah. Down here, 2.8. 2.8 of the gross purchase price. No, excuse me, I'm looking for one line. Oh my gosh, come on now. Seller's brokerage firm may enter into a compensation agreement with buyer's brokerage firm to contribute from the sale compensation X amount. So in that scenario where this number is 3 and this number is 2.8, listing agents getting 0.2. They think they're getting 3%, and they think they're paying 2.8 to a buyer's agent, but it's from the total commission outlined here. So just be aware of that. That's the section that's going to change, I think, where it's 2 separate parts. Commission to a listing agent, commission to a buyer's agent. All right, we got to move on. True or false? Co-op compensation can be advertised in a mass email to other agents.
True. Yes.
True.
True.
It's true. Dwight tells us. You can advertise compensation anywhere but the MLS. And the reason I'm bringing this up again, also consider though, do you want to show all of your sellers' cards? Or negotiate the best offer when you accept the contract? Because if you're openly advertising, my seller's willing to pay 2.8%, what if you would have gotten an offer, a really strong offer, and the buyer's agent's willing to do it for 2%? You just gave away 0.8% of your seller's money. You have to be able to articulate these scenarios because there are times, like I said, where sellers do want to just advertise it, they're fine with it, but you could be leaving some money out on the table, so.
Right, you gotta be able to tell them
Yeah.
that this could cost you money.
Yep, it could cost you money. All right, moving right along. As a buyer's agent, true or false, you can accept more commission than what was agreed upon in your exclusive right to buy.
No.
Good job, guys.
Unless you put something in additional provisions.
Unless you put something in additional provisions. But yeah, the standard there is false. You can't automatically accept more commission, as in if you put 2.8% in your buyer agency agreement and you work with a builder that's paying 3%, that 0.2% technically could be used by the buyer. So that's not in your buyer's best interest to just automatically pocket that money. They could use that to buy down closing costs or whatever.
So you do an amend extend to the buyer's agency agreement and offer to give the buyers a rebate for the difference.
Bing, bing, bing.
Oh,
Yep.
boom. Okay.
Nailed it. It's just awkward though if you have to go back and say, I know I said I'd charge you 2.8, but they're willing to give me 3. Can I pocket that? But then there are other creative solutions where you can give them a rebate if they'll allow it. I'll take the 3% commission, and I'll give you that 0.2% to buy down your closing costs. We're good.
So you need to amend the listing agreement if you're doing a rebate for the difference, right?
If it's 2.8, in that scenario I gave 2.8, but they're paying 3, yes, you would need to do a listing contract amount to increase that commission to 3%. Yes, because those numbers need to match. That comes up often still. I'm cruising, guys. I'm sorry. True or false? As a buyer's agent, you can accept less commission than what was outlined in your exclusive right to buy. Less commission.
Yes.
Good job. It's true. You can accept less commission than what was agreed upon in your buyer's agency agreement, but you can also hold the buyer accountable to pay the difference if you wanted them to. That still comes up to you. We don't need to do this one, but I'll do it. You can include a compensation range in your exclusive right to buy to cover all scenarios, as in, my commission shall be anywhere from 2% to 3%, depending on what's offered by the listing agent or seller.
False.
False. Compensation amounts must be specific as a percentage or a flat fee or an hourly fee. You can't have ambiguity in your amounts. When you represent the seller and procure the buyer, this is a bonus question because we're seeing this so much. This is a conversation I'm having 3 or 4 times a month. When you represent the seller and you, as the listing agent, procure the buyer, Equity only charges 1 set of transaction fees. True or false? All right, good. False. Equity charges 2 sets of transaction fees on double-ended transactions, $5.99 plus the $1.99 times 2. The only exceptions, take note of this, if you are a buyer's agent representing a buyer working a for sale by owner, so that seller is unrepresented for sale by owner, that's one time where we'd only charge 1 set of transaction fees because you didn't procure that buyer. It's a little bit of a different situation. The other exception, the seller has kind of coordinated a buyer in the background. Eileen, I'm ready to sell my home. I want you to represent me. I kind of already have this buyer back here, though. We don't even need to really go on the MLS. Maybe we do need to go on the MLS. I don't know. But if the seller kind of coordinates that buyer and asks you to step in to do the deal, again, you didn't procure that buyer. So we'll only charge you 1 set of fees on that.
How do you know if we procured or not? If we procure the buyer and work as a transaction broker versus the seller procures and works as a transaction broker?
Give me a call. Because the standard is that 2 transaction fees are going to be calculated. And then that's usually when you go, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Why do I have to pay twice? I'm going to call Paul.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
But we're still doing the same amount of work, and you're still doing the same amount of work in holding the doc keys and all the documents.
Things are changing. That is a rule that might change. But the idea was that you had a listing where you advertised it, and you got, in some situations, the compensation that would have otherwise possibly been paid to a buyer's agent. That's why we charge 2 sets of fees, because it's 2 sides of the deal. And then furthermore, there is a set of liabilities even if you're working with that buyer as an unrepresented customer. And that's corporate stance on why they charge that fee.
So if you're working with a buyer on a customer, or as a customer you're just a scrivener, and let's say you obtained that buyer, then you're not a transaction broker, it's a customer. So it's 1 transaction fee.
It'd still be considered 2.
That would be 2. Whereas, okay, that we'll have to have further, deeper.
Yeah.
Dive deeper.
Yeah, I know. I'm 10 minutes over, but yes, we will. I just wanted you to be aware of it. And the last takeaway, think ahead for these scenarios. In your exclusive right to sell listing agreements, include some sort of verbiage that states, in the event Paul Weininger is the only broker or licensee involved in this transaction, the compensation amount in section 7.1.1 shall be X. Maybe you increase it a little bit. Because to Eileen's point, you're doing the work of 2 agents. Charge a fee that reflects your time, effort, and added liabilities. And it's a little awkward when an unrepresented buyer comes along and you didn't have that conversation and now you need to amend the commission. So it's nice to put that in because we're seeing a ton of that. Unrepresented buyers are approaching the listing agent constantly. So That's all I got.
Right, especially if you gotta pay 2 transaction fees and you're not charging.
Exactly. That's there too.
You want me to be your scrivener? No.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could put together the deal saying that fire needs to pay.
Exactly. That's the key difference is even working with an unrepresented customer as a scrivener, you're still preparing forms for them.
And you're talking to
And
them,
you're talking to them. That's a risk. And that's how my conversations go. I didn't represent that buyer. No, you didn't. But there were still some duties that you did. You took part in drafting forms. And that adds up on E&O insurance if something goes south. That's corporates. At the end of the day, corporate sets these policies, and I understand it when I've seen the transactions that have gone south. Call with any questions on that, and I can explain it more thoroughly to you guys. So I'm behind. The last thing, then I'm truly letting you go. We do have Power Pros, but we were all freaked out about these changes, but we adapted extremely well. I just want you to think back a year ago when you guys were freaked out, but you're crushing it. We are much more resilient than we think, and I want you to remember that when things get heavy. This too shall pass, that whole concept.
We have full group therapy here.
Yep. I bill, it's $80 an hour, so just kidding. All right, guys, that's all I've got other than our Power Pros. If you are a power professional, we'll do it quick. Here are our August Power Pros. We've got Troy Talbert, John Holm, Tamila Aspen, Caitlin Tran, Carol Lawrence, Eileen Kitko, Greg Tiffin, and Max Johnson. If you guys could stand. I just wanted you guys to see these agents, and good job, guys. 2 or more transactions. And I gotta say, John Holm, he took it home with most transactions. He had 4 deals, if I'm not mistaken.
Woo! Nice job.
4 transactions, and I'm trying to look for that. I think it was 2.6 million in sales. Does that sound right to you, John? I'm trying to find your certificate. And then Troy Talbert received the Top Sales Agent Award, 2.8 million in sales. So you just by this much there, John. Otherwise, you would have been taking them both home. So congratulations, Power Pros. All right, guys. Well, thanks for staying 15 minutes late. I'll be better at shortening these meetings.
Oh, good. It was worth it.
Oh, thanks. Have a great day. Call if you need us. We're here for you. You bet the news. How's it going?